It's a final day of school, and Bart has a long line of F's on his report card, but after he gets an obliging Mrs. Krabappel to change the F's on his report card to C's, Bart, his fellow students, and the faculty and staff arm up and tear down Springfield Elementary School with crowbars, hammers, chainsaws, flamethrowers, assault rifles, a crane with a wrecking ball, piloted Bart himself to the tune of Alice Cooper's song School's Out. Suddenly, Homer wakes him up, and it turns out that it was just a dream, but it really is the last day of school. Bart and Lisa are excited about being able to spend the summer at Kamp Krusty, the crustiest place on earth, a summer camp endorsed by Bart's hero, Krusty the Clown. But Homer has said that Bart can only go if he gets at least a C average on his report card. At school, Lisa is shocked that she got a B+ in conduct. She tells Miss Hoover that it has to be an error, but Miss Hoover says everyone needs a blotch on their permanent record. Lisa, however, hates that an answer and pressures her, literally, to change it. Meanwhile, Bart finds that Mrs. Krabappel has given a D- in each subject as a result of him slacking off. Not like his dream will not change the grades. On the bus ride home, he uses a marker to change each grade straight to A+. Bart presents the card first to Lisa, then to his dad, both of whom see through the trick, while Lisa just laughs and jokes about him. Homer chides Bart for not faking plausible grades. Even so, Homer decides to just let Bart go to Kamp Krusty anyway, partly because he doesn't see why Bart should pay for his mistaken belief that Bart would achieve better grades in such a deal, partly because Homer doesn't want Bart hanging around the house all summer. In fact, almost all of the kids in Springfield are headed for Kamp Krusty in the light of their parents. Unfortunately, when they arrive, the camp's director, Mr. Black, who licensed the Krusty brand for his camp, announces that Krusty won't be around for a few weeks. Instead, the bullies of Springfield, Jimbo, Dolph, and Kearney, will be serving as counselors for enforcing order. Things only go further downhill when the campers discover the cabins are decrepit and vermin-infested. Lisa remarks is a little more rugged than she had expected. Back, on the other hand, is more confident and highlights the Krusty brand approval sticker on the back of the cabin, indicating that Krusty himself have approved the conditions. However, an approval sticker carries little, if any, merit, as Krusty is in approving various pieces of shoddy merchandise before taking off for England so he can attend Wimbledon. As time goes on, the situation at camp only seems to get worse. The kids are forced to roast pine cones instead of marshmallows. The lake is too dangerous to swim in, even the boats are in bad shape, and the kids are fed nothing but Krusty brand imitation gruel. 9 out of 10 orphans can't tell the difference. While they sing a song about camp, terrible conditions happen. A frog jumps out of Lisa's bowl of gruel. Bart falls into a hole, and the kids run for their lives when a rock slide comes down the hill. As for the nearby fat camp kids, they're under a completely inhumane workout boot camp, which is under lock and key. Lisa tells Bart that she feels as if she's going to die soon and unable to find a silver lining. Bart remarks that she's probably right and everyone else will share the same fate. Mr. Black and the bullies are smoking, eating turkey, and drinking brandy in their lake house, making a toast to evil. Meanwhile, with the kids gone, Homer and Marge are enjoying a wonderful summer together. Homer has even grown 2 extra strands of hair and lost a few pounds. Marge sends him a letter saying she hopes they're having a good time at camp and sends him jelly bean cookies, which are stolen and eaten by Kearney, who tells Lisa that her mom's cookies suck. Lisa sends a letter back to Marge describing how the camp's arts and crafts are nothing but sweatshops where the kids are forced to make wallets for export while showing them sewing to a drum beat by Kearney and getting pestered by Jimbo about the deadline of when the wallets have to be in Hong Kong and that their hikes have to become brutal forced marches where the weak are picked off, while Bart clings to the hope that Krusty will come and save them. Lisa claims that she is much more pessimistic about the matter. She concludes her letter by begging Marge and Homer to come get them, but they think she's exaggerating. This is once again proven not to be the case, as it's shown that the roof of their cabin is torn apart, leaving all the campers exposed to the storm. During this, Bart admits that the next summer he's going to get a job instead of going to camp. The campers at the camp curfew are all dirty, tired, and worn from the terrible environment and care at the camp. Mr. Black walks to the stage and announces to the campers that Krusty has finally arrived. A fatigued Bart is excitedly tells the other campers that Krusty came to save them, but it's just local drunk Barney Gumble sloppily dressed as Krusty. Not fooled by the obvious imposter, Bart shouts that it's not Krusty, and everyone gasps. Mr. Black chuckles nervously and asks Bart if he thinks that he just put a clown suit on a drunk. Unfortunately for him, Barney, ruining what little illusion he had to be like Krusty, talks trying to convince them that he's really crusty, or rather crunchy, then burps loudly. Finally, fed up of being in complete hell, Bart declares that he isn't the first time Krusty has betrayed him, having given a rapid heartbeat by Krusty brand vitamins. The Krusty brand calculator lacked 7, 4, and 8 keys, and Krusty's autobiography was self-serving with many glaring omissions. But this time, he's gone too far and rallies everyone up. They all begin to furiously chant that they wanted Krusty and start throwing things. The chant gets so strong, even Barney starts to take part in it, so referring to Krusty as Crunchy. Mr. Black turns to the bullies and angrily reminds them that they told him they'd broken the spirits of the campers and slaps him when they insist they did. Before the campers dive Mr. Black and the bullies into their hydrofoil. The campers destroy the camp while Bart frees the obese kids who stuff their faces with gruel, and Lisa gives the kids the mail that was kept from them. Finally, Bart takes down the Kamp Krusty flag and puts one up that says Camp Bart, to the mild annoyance of Lisa, who says they all agreed to call it Camp Freedom, only for Bart to remark, "This has more zing." Krusty is about to be knighted in England, but he receives an urgent call about the riots at the camp and quickly leaves to attend to this matter. Homer and Marge are doing yoga in the TV room when the program is interrupted by the news of the revolt. Channel 6 newscaster Kent Brockman arrives at the camp to report on the revolt. Brockman says, upon arriving at the scene, that he has been to Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq, and that, without hyperbole, there's a million times worse than all of them put together. When Homer watches live broadcasts on TV and learns that the rebel leader is Bart, he instantly loses his newly grown hair and instantly gains back his weight. Bart tells Brockman that he just wants the world to know that it was a really crappy camp. He quickly asks Brockman if it was okay that he used the word crappy, and Kent says it is. Upon his arrival at the camp, Krusty is swarmed by the media for comments, but he shoves them aside so he can apologize to the kids. At first, the children are doubtful that he's the genuine article, given the camp staff's attempt to dupe them earlier. They realize he is who he claims after ripping off his shirt and looking at the marks on his bare chest. Disappointed, Bart asks Krusty how he could ever have allowed his name to be put on the camp. Krusty aptly falls to his knees and starts sobbing, telling him that a dump truck full of money was brought to his house, and he didn't have the guts to refuse the offer given to him. Bart then describes to him that camp was a living nightmare, as they were feeding nothing but gruel, forced to make wallets for export, and one of the campers got eaten by a bear. Krusty is horrified by this, although Bart admits that the camper's hat was what got eaten, but it was a nice hat. Krusty remains horrified and tells Bart that everything is okay now and that he's going to make it all up to them by letting them spend the remaining 2 weeks of camp time with him at the happiest place on earth, Tijuana. The kids and Krusty have fun together in Mexico.